Up to this time, the ancient names of the division of the lands of the earth had been maintained, and God and his lords, being driven from the place of Hored, which had gone into dissolution, dwelt part of the time in Waga and part in Jud and Vohu. And God and the lords had established 3 kingdoms, one in Waga, one in Jud, and one in Vohu. And within these kingdoms of heaven there were 200 millions of redeemed angels, capable of the second resurrection, and 100 millions of Esyans and unlearned apprentices. Chief of the 3 heavens was Waga, and thither had God and his lords congregated with their chief officers as soon as the sign of the descending sea of Jehovih's kingdom appeared in the firmament above. To God Jehovih spake, saying, Make ready thy places, O my son, and thy lords with thee. Behold, I come in a world of fire, and my faithful workers shall find rest and happiness. Our Shong will redeem thy sons and daughters, yea, he will girdle the earth about with new etherean light and great power. Call together thy people, O God, and bid them rejoice and make merry, for the time of deliverance is at hand. Then God communicated to the lords, and they again to others, the words of Jehovih. And at sight of the sign in heaven, the faithful began to rejoice and to gather together in their respective places. But of the unbelieving angels dwelling on earth and with mortals, and in other abodes, of whom there were hundreds of millions, this is what happened. They were overcome by the sight of the ship of fire in heaven above, and in fear fled in all directions. And by their great numbers, in the presence of mortals, caused mortals also to fear and flee in search of some secure place. And many of these spirits of darkness came beseechingly to be admitted into the kingdoms of the lords, whither they had been invited for hundreds of years, but would not come. But God and the lords encompassed their places about with walls of light, and would not receive the unbelieving. God said, Till such time as our Shong shall arrive, let order be maintained within my kingdoms. So it came to pass that for 6 days and nights the fear that prevailed on earth and in heaven was such as had never been before since the earth was. And God and the lords brought their esenaos out, and they sang and danced before Jehovih. And on the approach of our Shong's hosts, with his musicians and heralds, and the great multitude, arrayed in shining raiment, even God and the lords were overcome by the splendor and magnificence. They sat down on the improvised throne. The etherean marshals approached and divided, first into single columns, then double, then quadruple, until the 50,000 marshals had enclosed all sides, save the east, where was an open space through which our Shong came, attended by his chief counselors, of which there were 5,000. After these came the council of 1,000,000, interbroken here and there with groups of thousands of esenaos, who were chanting hymns of praise to Jehovih and his kingdoms.